Welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm reviewing the EGO LM2135E-SP 52cm battery lawnmower. This mower is my only mower that I use in my gardening business, whether that be for rough, tiny little lawns to fine bowling green type lawns and everything in between. In this video I'm going to talk through the features of the lawnmower, share my thoughts on it, and ultimately help you decide whether it's the mower for you or not. This replaced the EGO 1903 for us. The previous model of this was on a different sort of architecture in terms of motors and so on, whereas this mower now carries the similar system to the 1903, which has some advantages and some disadvantages, which I'll get to in the video. The mower costs about £900 here in the UK if you buy it with the charger and battery, the 7.5 amp hour battery, which is how I'd recommend getting it. You can get it just tool only. As I say, it's a 52cm mower, so it's on the big side. It's got a twin clip select cut system. With that you have a single height adjustment lever with 7 points of adjustment between 25 and 90 millimeters. You have mulching and collection capabilities with a 70-litre grass box. It's a single battery slot unit. It has an IPX rating of 4, so it's slightly waterproof. Sound figures between 80 and 90 decibels. Vibration figures of 0.06, so very, very low. You have a blade or load speed of 2,700. An overall weight of 25 kilos, so pretty light for a big mower like this, with carry handles on the front and the back here. You still have EGO's brilliant foldable handle system. It's the only truly foldable handle system that I know of which actually works. Just feels really well thought out and makes storing it a whole lot easier. For a big mower like this, it just goes down to no space at all, which for me is really useful. And it is also available with a mulch kit and a roller. We've got both of them. The roller is £82. It just simply slips onto the back rear axle. Really simple, better than on the 1903, and you've got a mulch plug as well as a mulch blade setup that you can get for it, which costs about £50. Having used it for now a couple of months, doing all of these different jobs, I thought I'd share my thoughts on it, talk through some of the good and the bad points. So one of the key points that these EGO mowers have, and one of the reasons why it's practically the only choice for us, is the foldable handles. We only have a small van, and actually pretty much any mower of this size would just simply wouldn't fit in. It'd just be too long. So having that ability to fold the handles up and run them like this just means that we can have a mower in the van. This makes it so much easier, and again, if space is an issue, then it makes a whole lot of sense for you. Really simple system, and there's no wear and tear. You're no worried about wires bending or anything like that, which you would have with a sort of a conventional foldable handle system. So really smart system, and makes it truly usable for us. Now, I mentioned that it's now running the same sort of system architecture as the EGO 1903s, and there are some good points to that and some bad points. The good point is the fact that I never really had an issue with the 1903, apart from one thing, which was the gearbox and the drive system. So I'm quite happy that the reliability of the motor and all of those components is going to be fine. I've hit stones with it and all sorts of things, and it's absolutely fine. Obviously the blades are a bit dinged up, but you know, that comes with it. There are some other little gremlins in that system when you're just using it normally. It can be somewhat slow to start sometimes, pushing along, particularly in moments where you want it to go, it sort of doesn't want to, and it does slow down and become less responsive as the battery level goes down. It also locks the rear wheels occasionally, which you have to then push forwards and backwards to release it. Just happens. And then sometimes, particularly if you maybe just sort of rolled backwards a bit and then put the drive on, it sort of overdrives and it feels like it wants to rip the rear end off, which ultimately is not going to be good for it. So there are some issues with it, and they are carried over from the 1903. So it is a shame about that, but it still works, it still pulls, it still goes at a decent speed, so it's not terrible, but it could be better. Cut is the most important thing with a lawnmower, and in my opinion this is better than the 1903, which was a passable cut. This one is better. It seems to cut more of the grass on a single cut, which is obviously a good thing. With the twin clip system as well, it definitely does chop up the grass better. So whether you're mulching, it leaves less, and what's left is much finer and easier to drop through the grass. The grass bag fills up really well. It does bag very well in good conditions. So it does a very good job generally of cutting. There are a few issues surrounding that. I do find that the cut is slightly ruined by the wheel tracks that it leaves. It does leave tram lines pretty badly, and it doesn't seem to pick up, doesn't seem to mow them very well. So you end up with these sort of strips down that haven't really been mowed, which is frustrating. Happened with the other one as well. In terms of cutting in the wet, that is a bit more of an issue. It's okay, it cuts in the wet, you can cut in the rain with it, but it does gum up the deck pretty quickly and you can hear it. And that can happen in, like, arguably wetter conditions are better than slightly damp conditions, where it seems to struggle more. The harder the machine is working, the less runtime you get. So the runtime drops off massively when you have bad wet conditions. The saving grace for that is the fact that you can just simply tip up the mower and just clear it out pretty much every time I empty the bag. Also, the mulching capabilities with the mulch plug-in are much better, whether it be sort of leaves on the lawn or just long grass or grass. The twin clip blade chops them up much more effectively, and it's much more of a mulch mower than the 1903, which is a sort of mower that you could stick a mulch plug in. And the roller as well adds a lot of functionality to it. We use it on a couple of lawns. It's better than on the 1903, you just simply slot it on the rear axle. It's still not the best quality stripe in the world, but you know, for an additional roller setup, it does a good job and is better than nothing. So it's nice to have the versatility. It means that we don't have to run two mowers, which is a good thing. The battery system, EGO use it in all of their tools, but I have my reservations about it slightly. My other system that I use is the steel battery system, and it's never put a fault wrong. EGO batteries, I've had two or three faulty batteries, and this brand new battery that came with the mower is faulty. The one good thing, and what makes me think that EGO are aware that there are issues with their batteries, is the fact that they don't quibble about if you've got a warranty about getting a replacement. That's a bit of an issue, but as I say, as long as you can get a replacement that ultimately works, that's fine. And I have noticed this one, the new one, compared to my old 7.51, there's quite a lot of a drop-off compared to the new one. Ultimately, you still might get pretty much the same battery runtime, but the interpretation of how much work life it has is different, which was quite an interesting discovery. A pet hate of mine is instructions being rubbish. The instructions are rubbish on this. They don't give you anything. They don't give you bolt sizes. They don't tell you how to remove the blade or anything. It just annoys me. Give me a decent pair of instructions. I've also been having issues with noise getting into my ear defenders from this lawnmower. That sounds a bit strange. This mower, though relatively quiet, I would still recommend wearing ear defenders. Using it seems to get into them and reverberate in the ear chamber massively, and it was giving me quite a headache. I have recently bought a Peltor, the X4s, and they seem to be okay. So generally speaking, it's a mixed review. I think it is a great mower. There are a few issues carried over from the previous models. It does a good cut. It's versatile with the mulching and roller functions if you're a professional. Now, unless you're a homeowner with a massive great lawn and you're sort of interested in cutting your lawn nicely, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It's just too big, it's too expensive, and why would you bother? I would recommend just getting you know, the 19 or the 1703. If you've got any comments or questions about the lawnmower, do drop them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. There will be links to all of the stuff I've mentioned. If you're interested in that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button as well. And thanks again for watching. Bye for now.